Her son was in the hospital, and she goes on, she says, last night, I was laying there next to him, and I fell asleep, and I had a vision. And in that vision, you were there, and she pointed to me. We had never met up until this point. It was the day before we met. She said, you appeared in radiant white. And I asked you, I said, what are you doing here? And you told me, I am about to show you. So I said, I am about to show you what will happen after this life to all of us. And I took her by the hand, and we were transported to the gates of heaven.
Wow.
And in front of the gates of heaven was a pond, she said. And in the pond were fish. And she looked at me and she said, what is that?
Did she say it like that?
She did! Yeah.
What is this?
So, for Mormons, you can't get mad at me. She said that. That was directly what she said. It's also exactly how the temple says it, but whatever.
Oh.
So she said, what is that? And I said, the fish represents each of us in this world. All of us must travel through the waters and become clean again for us to enter into the kingdom of heaven. And then I took her by the hand and I walked her through the waters, and as soon as she was submerged, we were transported inside of heaven. We were in the first room of heaven, and there, sitting before me, was a woman who was writing down all of the names of those who were allowed to enter the kingdom of heaven. And she had flaming blue hair.
Oh.
And in retrospect, I love that. I'm like, that's so cool that guarding the gates of heaven is a clearly bisexual woman. I think that's so fun. I now picture her, I'm like, okay, she have a septum piercing, there's like Phoebe Bridgers playing in the background of heaven. And the woman with the blue hair looked at the woman who was telling the story and says, you cannot enter, for your name is not written. And then I spoke up, and I said, she can enter, for though her name is not written in the book, it will be written as a new name, because she is with me. And the woman said, if she is with you, then she can enter. And we entered into the gates of heaven, and she said, I woke up. And at this point, missionary Adam just salivating, as I'm like, oh my God, this lady's going to be the first female apostle.
Yeah,
I'm going to be the one about it. I'm going to be prophet, I assume, at this point, right?
Yeah.
And so she asked me, she said, what does that vision mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I think it clearly means that you need to enter the waters of baptism so that after this life, you and your family can be sealed for all eternity as a family, but you need to convert to the true church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon religion, so that you can have eternity with your family. And she looked at me and she said, nah, I don't think that's it. I already have a church. There was nothing I could say to convince this woman that it meant anything. She was like, cool story, huh? Anyway, thanks for stopping by. And I was so flabbergasted. But now that I'm out, I'm like, okay, well then, let's be real. Even if heaven is real, it clearly isn't that good then. Because that woman saw it, and she was still like, nah, I'm going to keep being Jehovah's Witness. Instead.
Right.